This is lifetime Cowboys fan Jim Saxton with Jim Saxton State Farm. You want insurance knowledge and old school service? Give us a call. You know, people say have that saying, life is a full circle. This is a big moment for me, and the guy to the right of your screen, the Michael Coleman, really was my mentor way back when I had a lot of hair. I wasn't overly intelligent at the time. Way back at KXAN in Austin, Texas, I was one of his interns. And look at this, 30 years. Oh, I'm not going to say 30. We'll say 25.
No, 25.
25. Coleman hasn't aged a bit. I've had significant changes, but one thing that hasn't changed, Coleman covers Cowboys camp religiously a quarter of a century. Is that pretty much accurate?
That's about right. That's about right. Most of my career, as we talked earlier, has been in Texas, and part of that ritual is covering them Dallas Cowboys, no matter where they are. So I covered them at their last training camp in Thousand Oaks, and then, of course, you know, because you were there, they came to Austin. That was during those dynasty years when they were winning, and Jimmy Johnson was kicking butt, and nobody could tell him no. Except for not even Jerry, as a matter of fact. In fact, it would be Jimmy telling Jerry no when he walked away. And then, of course, Wichita Falls, San Antonio. And for the past, this is my fourth camp now here at Oxnard in California, where the Cowboys now train.
It's amazing. I've never been to Oxnard, but rest assured, you could take it the Vegas odds. And if anything's Cowboy associated, or Kansas City Chiefs for that matter, Michael Coleman will be there. There is no doubt. I will put money on it. And this guy this is where I learned my mentality of how I used to do things. Coleman does things a little different. You know, it's not just, hey, old line, this, the win, losses. No. Coleman gives you the story behind the story, makes it fun. And some animated stories, if you will. Hey, before we go forward, first of all, MC, man, I've loved this. We should have collaborated on this last year or before, but camping with the Cowboys and Oxnard with MC, and we got to give love. I know it looks like a NASCAR car with all the logos, but Jim Saxton State Farm Insurance Agency in Austin, Westlake, Austin OG. He and his late father put together or really started this business, and he is maintaining it. It's like, you know, just take care of that Cadillac and it's rolling. But yeah, for all your insurance needs, give Jim Saxton State Farm Insurance Agency a call, saxtoninsurance.com.
And let me say this. I remember the Saxtons when I was in Austin.
That's right.
So I remember. So it's good to see that he's still being the backbone of what's going on in that community, man. That's really strong.
It's pretty impressive for the generations. And something I learned through him that I was not aware of until I started this podcasting journey was his father was a Heisman finalist.
Oh, okay.
Way back in the day.
Yeah.
It's unreal. And it was long before your Coffeyville College playing days and as your days at Saluki. So it was before that. So, which was yesterday. It wasn't that long ago.
Oh, yeah. It was just yesterday. In fact, I just broke a 50-yarder just 2 days ago.
Michael Coleman, the best hamstrings this side of the Mississippi River. Oh, my God. Coleman, as we break down, as Cowboys camp starts today with Jerry Jones State of the Union, he always makes it about himself and the Cowboys promotions in a Jerry Jones kind of way. What would you say the number one priority, which really is the number one priority on most teams, the offensive line, and Mike McCarthy's third season reconfigured, but they have 2 All-Pros. Is that enough for this offense to become the productive machine that they can be?
No. I think it is, because you're also in position to develop some more All-Pro material, even if they aren't going to be that. Because, you know, you can be material of an All-Pro, but not be recognized as such. But if you're grading out high on the offensive line, right, that's what matters. If you're protecting your quarterback and you're making plays down the field, that's what counts. So you don't have to be the NFL's all pro. Just be the Cowboys or the Lions or Lions, okay. But just be that team's all pro, and you can go a long way. And I think the Cowboys, they do have that talent. It's just a matter of shoring it up, finding your identity. What is your identity? I don't even know what their identity is. I mean, there was a time when you knew what the Cowboys are going to come to do. They're going to run that ball. They're going to run it down your throat, and you can't stop it. And I dare you to. Okay, you think you might have slowed it down, so you didn't stop it. Never going to throw a pass your direction. Now, because we've become it's a pass-happy league.
Very much
but
so.
When you got a running back like Zeke Elliott, and you got Tony Pollard, who is, he's no slouch, and my understanding is those two guys from time to time are going to be on the field at the same time. And I think that speaks a lot about Kellen Moore's ability to be an offensive guy, to make the right call at the right time. Work on getting that center. Here's what they need to work on. How, and remember how the San Francisco game ended. So there needs to be a drill on a situation like that. How fast you get back to the ball. Make sure you let the referee touch the ball. That's how it goes. We're not playing in the backyard or anywhere. We're playing real football. They got rules in real football. They don't in street ball. So let him touch that ball. Then tell him to get out the way and get that play off. That was so embarrassing for them last year because they were in that game. They didn't make no mistake about it. They were in that game. Yeah, and so and to lose a game like that makes for a very, very, very long off season. And as I said in my report last night back home, is you know what, they got to put that behind them, and hopefully they've already had some sort of idea of what they want the identity to be, and then when camp starts, live up to it. Don't start in September. You start it right now.
So that memory, and I'll be honest, I'm not going to lie. I am a lifelong Cowboys fan. I know we're trying to be objective, but everybody's a Cowboys fan, and people love to hate the Cowboys. Even the haters, they take interest in what's going on with the Cowboys. And I guess the next question that Micah Parsons, is he that guy? I know he was the NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year. What's the next step for him? I mean, expectation-wise, should they be sky high for him? Because he's a tremendous piece. He is that defense.
No, our expectations should be that high. You know why? Because his are. He came off the season he had. He wants more, and they're going to give him more. And that's one of the things I'm going to ask, as you know, in a couple of hours or so, the Jerry, as you mentioned, Jerry Jones's State of the Union address. And that's one of my questions is like, talk about how his confidence has increased week by week once you gave him more responsibility, because obviously you trusted the guy. You trusted him so much he became the Defensive Player of the Year as a rookie. So no, there are no high expectations of Micah Parsons, because this is a guy who's going to deliver. What I want to see is, can he stand prosperity? Didn't know who he was a year ago, much like a quarterback situation who just gets off, or running back. Now on the defensive side, they've seen a lot of tape of you. They're going to come at you. They have a game plan for you. How do you shed that game plan and live up to the expectations? And that's going to be a healthy find for him, because he knows he can't do everything the same way he did last year, because opposing offenses are not going to put up with it.
So to help him become that next level linebacker, it's all about the guys around you. Do you think there is enough talent or depth to bring him assistance? I know the defensive line can be a tremendous strength, could be, but are the linebackers talented enough to help him through his maturation process?
Well, I think after that first wave of linebackers, the talent level drops off a little bit. And that's why that first line, Vander Esch and Parsons and the rest of those guys that are playing in that position and playing in that scheme, they have to be able to limit and discourage an offense, so that when you're giving somebody a breather and you have to bring somebody else in behind a Micah, behind a Vander Esch, who's not a first stringer, all he's there to do is don't wreck the car. Don't give up the 5-yard run on a 3rd and 2. Don't give up a 15-yard pass underneath on a third and 14. Don't give up 15. And so that's what the second stringers or the guys who come in for relief are going to have to put their mindset in. My number can be called at any time, and I got to be ready. I get my motor running. And again, this is not something you develop when you're on the field. You develop it now during training camp. It used to be a time you would go to camp to get in shape. Mm-hmm. Well, those days have been long gone. Just like the days of not getting water at a football practice are long gone. You go to camp already in shape, and then they take it from there to put you in the football shape. And so everything you're trying to do, you've already been working on it, and you should. And I think that's the case of what the backups to those defensive linebackers are going to have to do.
That's a good take, and I trust your analysis of that is very. I think is really the situation that I think Cowboy fans are always optimistic, whether or not they went 1-15 or 14. Oh, wait, sorry, 1-16 nowadays. That 17th game. Do you still
right? 17th game.
Yeah. There's always that optimism with the Cowboys. This is the year. We're going on what? 20 plus years of not being irrelevant, but really truly contending for a Super Bowl. But do you trust this defense though? I mean, this defense to be improved, let's say.
Yeah, no, I do trust that defense because we haven't, we've talked this long about the defense. We haven't mentioned Diggs, who can play. I mean, this guy here, and he knows the target's on him too. And so I do trust his defense. I may trust the defense a little bit more than I do the offense because the defense has shown more consistency than the offense has. I'm not saying the offense can't, but they're going through some changes on the offensive side. Yeah. We all, the WR1 is now Cee Dee Lamb, and I'm a big Cee Dee Lamb fan, and I think he's had some drops. Those are things. Big ones. Oh my goodness. I mean, he can make the hard catch, but sometimes you just have to settle down, be within yourself, and know that folks are counting on you. Take that responsibility. You come from a high profile program. Yeah. I mean, the only thing difference is maybe Dallas pays their players more than what OU used to.
All right, Barry Switzer.
But now it's legal. So what the heck, right? I mean, it's the cat's out the bag. But no, I like Cee Dee Lamb. I want to see him produce. I do surmise this, and I mentioned this to a couple of people I had on my show a few nights ago. Because Michael Gallup's not going to be around for a while. He's still injured, or he's healing and mending and all that kind of stuff. I maintain that if Gallup had not been injured, he would have been traded to Cleveland and not Amari Cooper. I really believe that.
I can see that because it's a commodity,
right? And I can see him getting a 5th round pick for that move, and not Amari Cooper. Cleveland got Amari Cooper cheap, considering what Amari brings to the table. And I like Gallup. I love Gallup, but I remember there was talk that he was about to be a free agent and he might not be around this year. But they turn around and give him a new deal, and they ship Cooper off to Cleveland. And so now, when it's his time, he's got to shine.
Yeah, and that's so. If you're looking at that wide receiver room, you've got I know we joked on a phone call. Cee Dee Lamb, whoever's wearing number 88 with the Dallas Cowboys, you have as much or more pressure than whoever's QB1. And if you're the head coach, Mike McCarthy's got to be happy that there is a number 88 because that number 88 takes some of the pressure off him. So for CD's growth, he's got to learn to uphold the tradition of 88 consistently, as you mentioned. Who are the second and third options that you think in Gallup's absence while he recovers?
Well, I think that's one of the reasons why we're going to see Tony Pollard in the slot from time to time. I think we're going to see him there. He's a versatile guy. He's got great hands. I mean, we're talking about 88, right? So Tom Landry had his version of an 88, and what an 88 he was. He's in the Hall of Fame, Mr. Drew Pearson, right? Okay. And then you had Jimmy Johnson had his version of 88. Where's that guy? In the Hall of Fame. Now, Jason Garrett had his version. Des Bryant hometown kid from East Texas. Not a Hall of Famer, but he was a player, and that was a catch. We still talk about that.
100%
Okay,
it was.
that was a catch. And now you have Mike McCarthy's version of 88. How does he stand up and live up to them? Now, in the event he can't live up to what the previous 88s had done, you're going to look for in training camp right now as we speak, who can be that guy? Who's going to be our okay, covered, not open, bam, it's coming to you. Now, Dalton Schultz, who was the franchise tag, I mean, the Cowboys have always used their tight ends. They've always used their tight end. We know, I think Cowboy fans knew the name of their tight ends a whole lot more than the other fans of their teams. Novacek and Witten. I mean, we knew who these guys were. Mike Ditka back in the day, tight end. So I think you're going to see more play involving their tight end, a la Kansas City, and what they do with Travis Kelce, which is not a bad thing whatsoever. So I think that's that'll be another target, and maybe one of the younger guys who wants to fill that mold. I can't think of his name right now, but he came in handy for them. I'm not sure if he's still with them or not, but I think he is. I can't think of his name, but the tight end and those secondary wide receivers, when your number's called, and maybe it's not called, be ready in the event the ball's coming your direction.
Cowboys camp. The best part about it, and MC knows it all too well, it is every day, every hour is a storyline, every day, every hour is a chapter. And it's a show within a show. Before we wrap this first installment of Camping with the Cowboys with MC, how do you describe all these years when you put it all together, all the Cowboys camps? I mean, it is a drama within a drama, and it's never a dull moment. Is that?
You know what? Clarence Hill, the writer for the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, and I always use him for my sports segment back at home. I call it the Clarence unit of the address is what I do, because he's funny and he's got tremendous insight. And last year at this time, when I asked him, what do you see that bounces out to you about this team that's a plus, without missing a beat? He says, you know what? They're talking football. None of this other garbage stuff that goes on with players on the offense. They're talking football. Yep. And it's rare for the Cowboys to come into camp without some lingering something, whether it be a holdout or Zeke coming, Zeke in Mexico, whatever. They're talking football. Well, talking football and getting that start took them to the playoffs, and that's good. Now, this offseason, it wasn't so much the players who were being taken to task. It was Jerry Jones, because of the young lady who's his daughter or whatever that's about, allegedly.
What was that?
And Rich Dalrymple, their PR guy, who gives you the credentials and green lights their credentials for you to cover the Cowboy camp. Him and his accusation of peeping on the cheerleaders in the locker room. I mean, so any noise during the offseason was from nobody who plays, but from the owner and from the PR guy. Now Rich is gone, and then I don't have a problem with Rich. I always, he's always done me well. I think he's done a pretty good job. Yeah, very helpful. But that's a good sign that if your players aren't making the noise, and the other cats are, well, let's work with them. You don't have to ask questions. Here's the good thing about this press conference today with Jerry, as it was last year. We don't have to ask questions about why so-and-so's not here. Now, probably the most not even a controversy.
That's a great
probably the most questioned situation to be, hey, Dalton Schultz, franchise tag. What's your game plan for him? That type of deal, because players don't like the franchise tag except for Kirk Cousins. I mean, he'll be tagged any day of the week if you want him to be tagged. He'll take that money and go out and play and say, hey, this is football. But that is a big plus for the Cowboys, that we don't have to ask about something that happened with a player during the offseason.
Zero player drama, and all the drama was at the top, which is indicative of our American society.
There you go. Very well put.
older men in key leadership positions.
Older men, older games.
Hey, Coleman, what do you think? Second installment in here in 3 or 4 days?
Let's knock it out. I'll give you some updates on what's going on. I have content. We'll have talked to a few of the players. We can relay some of what's been said and what's being said, and who's looking strong and who needs to step up the pace a little bit.
Man, I love that, man. And if you have not, you've probably heard him. Coleman was a sports director for a long time in Austin, Texas, and really launched me into this in that space. And follow him on Instagram, follow him on Facebook. I think it's Michael Coleman KLTV.
And follow me to the barbecue joint.
Woo! This man right here, he's a foodie at heart. The guy knows all the great spots, and I'm sure when you come back to Austin, there's a few still remaining open.
Yeah, I know. I need to get reacquainted with Austin. Last time I was in Austin, I was covering one of our softball teams was there, and I was staying at a buddy's house in Round Rock. But that town changes every 2 months. To me, that town changes, and so
it's weekly.
Oh, but yeah, right. I'm scared of Austin, man. It's become Houston when it comes to traffic. Oh my God. But when you get to that destination in Austin, it's well worth it.
Yeah, it is. My brother, enjoy Oxnard. Hey, Cowboys,
all right, my man.
Not be the same without you. So,
okay, buddy.
Coleman, Campin with the Cowboys and MC. Installment number 1. We out.
Hey, this is lifetime Cowboys fan Jim Saxton with Jim Saxton State Farm. You want insurance knowledge and old school service, give us a call.